Today on Investigate TV Plus, a family's future at risk and hope is fading fast.
We're willing to do whatever is necessary, but I just don't have a lot of faith in our system.
We investigate claims that inaccurate court-ordered drug tests could be keeping parents separated from their kids.
Should drug tests alone determine the outcome of parental rights?
Oh, absolutely not.
Then wildlife gets too close for comfort as a coyote chases a little girl in her own backyard.
There's a coyote! Quickly, get inside!
How her quick thinking demonstrates what you should do if you have a coyote encounter.
That little girl, I think, made some great decisions, calling for an adult.
And breaking medical boundaries. We explore a first-of-its-kind surgery, restoring sight, and reconstructing lives.
When it first happened, I had no vision at all, not even shapes.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Parents fighting for the custody of their children question the accuracy of court-ordered drug tests. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Families across the country claim 2 labs that perform the drug screenings have a history of false positive results. And in some cases, it's prevented kids from coming home.
Investigative reporter Sierra Cummings takes us to Georgia for an in-depth look at solutions.
Deidreana Hefner wants to cut right to the chase. There's no point in hiding these mugshots. She did drugs. It landed her in prison.
I needed to get arrested to have that long, clear frame of mind.
A Cherokee County mom with an addiction that caused intervention from the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services, known as DFACS. The state agency placed her 2 kids in foster care October 2021. To get her kids back, Deidreana agreed to random drug screens.
It's going into my 3rd year.
Nearly 3 years of sobriety, except her drug tests don't show that.
Flabbergasted, honestly, and I was like, how is that even possible?
Hair follicle drug test results from DFACS subcontracted labs show multiple times she tested positive for drugs.
Saying that I failed drug screens that I know I haven't used any drugs.
After positive drug tests, the state has the right to ask a judge to consider terminating Deidreana's parental rights. So at the advice of her attorney and even her mom, Deidreana began getting tested at independent labs too.
Ours is negative and theirs is saying positive.
State subcontracted labs showing positive for meth, independent labs showing negative. Deidreana's allegation of false positives is no outlier. We uncovered credibility issues with 2 of the largest labs subcontracted to do drug screens for DFACS. The labs are Aver Health and Expertox. Lawsuits around the country show a history of false positive allegations. Expertox, DFACS records show their lab did not typically perform a specialized drug test called DL isomer. It would identify legal drugs like medicine versus illicit drugs. Although not required by the state, it could help minimize claims of false positives. And Aver Health, for years, the lab company actually held contracts directly with the state to exclusively do all drug screens for DFACS. That exclusive statewide contract was not renewed again. This after records reveal long-standing concerns from caseworkers. A DFACS County director reporting a 2019 case of an alleged false negative, calling it a safety issue for a child, writing, "We rely on drug screen results to be accurate. We received an erroneous negative on the mother. It was a key factor in returning a child to the mother." Aver Health called the results a keying error due to manual entry. Drug tests, which help decide the fate of families like Deidreana's. Her 2 kids remain in foster care.
Sorry. It's been heartbreaking, really, because not only have my choices affected them and I've had to see what they've gone through, but I've done everything that I've needed to do to fight to get them back, and it's all of my efforts have failed.
All signs point to her sobriety, says peer mentor Christina Carter.
So Deidreana, she is a walking miracle, 100%. The moms and the dads that they're
Not only is Christina certified in addiction recovery, but she's also the co-founder of Moms Adopting Moms, a local organization that helps parents with DFACS cases get back on their feet. Case management, recovery, housing, employment. Adriana's case hits hard for Christina because she says she's witnessed the sobriety and stability, especially after Adriana just gave birth to a baby boy and takes care of him.
Because I'm not supposed to be invested in these things emotionally, but how could you not, right? Like, I couldn't imagine being sober and like doing everything in my power and like having this people who know that I'm sober and then being told that I'm not and having my kids taken away.
Should drug tests alone determine the outcome of parental rights?
No, absolutely not. I mean, they are one tool.
Former DFACS director Tom Rawlings reacting to our findings.
And I think that, what you've highlighted in the reporting that you've been doing on this issue is that I think not only our state child welfare system, but I think other states, we need to look at how we're using these tests.
Rawlings was director from 2018 to 2021, a time in which he reviewed complaints of false positives and false negatives. He agrees the results may create caseworker bias about a parent's sobriety, but now he advocates reviewing policy and standards around the reliability of the test.
We need to be talking with experts on, what does it actually mean to have this particular level of positivity. I think one of the things that may very well come out of this series and this investigation you're doing is we really need to be looking at how we use drug screening and how we ensure that a drug screen is not the end-all be-all.
Adriana and her family hope it's not the end-all be-all for their case either.
We're willing to do whatever is necessary, but I just don't have a lot of faith in our system.
I love all of my kids, and I'm never gonna stop fighting for them.
Adriana's attorneys gave her independent test results to DFACS. After that, her court case was put on a continuance, meaning all parties agreed to delay the proceedings that could terminate her parental rights while she continues to take different types of tests. DFACS does not comment on specific cases, but said when there are instances of false positive allegations, they require the drug testing labs to submit methods, accreditation, and chain of custody. In Atlanta, I'm Sierra Cummings.
Now for a closer look at some of the other cases where results have been called into question. In Michigan, the Child Welfare Agency terminated its contract with AverHealth over the claims of false positives. And in Utah, the state dropped the company as its provider due to questions over reliability.
Meanwhile, Texas revoked Expertox's license after allegations of inaccurate results and misconduct. Both AverHealth and Expertox deny claims of faulty drug results, citing lab accreditation.
You can see their full response and learn more about what causes false positive results on InvestigateTV.com. Just search stolen sobriety.
Still ahead, a revolutionary medical procedure promises healing in more ways than one. How a silicone implant is improving vision and confidence.
Then later, in a city known for music, another kind of harmony is being created.
So when you stand behind them, it looks like they're marching together.
How sculptures are singing a silent song of courage that isn't measured in notes, but by the heartbeats of women who helped rewrite history.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
Whether from a condition at birth or a traumatic injury, a missing or damaged iris can lead to serious vision problems.
Patients have to deal with sensitivity to bright lights and are oftentimes not happy with their appearance.
But there's a groundbreaking device that can help improve their vision. In 2018, the Food and Drug Administration greenlit the first standalone prosthetic iris that can be surgically implanted. It's the only product of its kind currently approved in the U.S.
Reporter Zach Summers introduces us to the first person in Missouri to get the surgery.
It's one of the simple joys in life. Looking up and feeling the sun shining on your face. A sensation Jennifer Sanders was deprived of for nearly 15 years.
Someone that I cared about very much threw something at my face and it caused catastrophic damage.
The mom of two suffered an orbital globe rupture in her right eye in 2010. 95% of Jennifer's iris was destroyed, half of her retina was detached, and her eye lens had to be removed. She had no way of regulating how much light was getting into the back of her eye.
It was really awful. When it first happened, I had no vision at all, not even shapes. I see you, and I call it the hologram version over here. Like two of everything.
Doctors told Jennifer she would never fully see again. As you can imagine, it was devastating. Jennifer found a doctor at University of Missouri Healthcare who could implant a custom-made silicone artificial iris into her eye.
My mouth dropped.
This is a photo taken right before we started her surgery.
Dr. James Landreneau conducted Jennifer's surgery in late September, the first in the state of Missouri, according to the company behind the prosthesis, Veo Ophthalmics.
There are complications that can occur, just like any surgery, but the safety profile of this implant is great.
I can actually open it now where I couldn't before.
Dr. Landreneau says Jennifer's case was challenging because she didn't have supportive tissue, so it had to be sewn into her eye.
This is immediately post-op, like right as we finish up the surgery. So again, you can tell there is a fixed pupil here with the artificial iris implant. She looks great.
A successful case that came at a cost. Jennifer's insurance covered the surgery itself, but she had to pay $9,000 out of pocket. Her provider called the procedure cosmetic.
Come here, babies.
1 month post-surgery, and Jennifer told us she feels amazing, though those first few weeks weren't as pleasant.
It was pretty awful in the beginning. A lot of sensitivity to light, a lot of headaches while the iris adjusted, right?
Jennifer's vision has now started to come into focus. She's seeing the world clearer. She's even got a new sense of confidence.
Making eye contact more. I'm not afraid to look at people like I was before.
A life-changing prosthesis, offering a different look on life.
Since FDA approval 6 years ago, Sanders is one of more than 1,000 artificial iris cases in the U.S.
It will likely take several more months for her eye to completely heal, but the Mayo Clinic says once the procedure is complete, little specialized follow-up care is typically needed. Still to come, sculptures stand witness to a powerful political movement.
So every one of these women on this monument has got a fascinating story to tell.
Where you can visit a tribute to heroines who fought for women's right to vote.
But first, dealing with an unexpected urban inhabitant.
I was shocked. That's the feeling I had.
We'll tell you when more coyotes are coming out of the woods and how to keep the clever creatures away from your family.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime, streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download.
Coyotes, they've been spotted in every state except one. Do you know what's the one?
I have no idea, but I've never seen one.
You've never seen one?
I've never seen one in real life.
Well, that's hopefully that continues in your backyard. Well, guess Hawaii. Hawaii is the only state without coyotes. Once found primarily in western deserts and plains, millions of coyotes now roam in the continental United States. Over the years, experts say they have adapted to an urban lifestyle, and that could mean seeing one in your backyard.
Reporter Ezra Kaplan explains when your risk for a run-in rises and what you can do to protect your family should you see one.
Dad,
Yeah.
this is a coyote.
No.
Yeah.
Oh!
His dad instincts kicked in as Charlie Schmidt grabbed his daughter, keeping an eye on the coyote. Other cameras around the house captured the family's surprise.
Coyote! There's a coyote! Quickly, get inside!
Dad comes around and keeps an eye on the coyote as it leaves the property and wanders down the street.
I was shocked. That's the feeling I had. We do have them in the neighborhood. I see them from time to time. I've never seen them be aggressive, or not that one was being aggressive, but like I've never seen them come towards people. They're always going away from people.
It was a startling moment captured on camera, but coyotes are nothing new for Portlanders.
Coyotes have lived here for at least 50 years in the city, in neighborhoods.
Zuriel Van Bell leads the Portland Urban Coyote Project, which collects community reports of coyote sightings and tracks them on a map.
So we take that information along with other research and information from across the country and across North America, and give that back to the community so that they know how to live with coyotes well, and sort of what's going on with living with coyotes.
She says it's pretty normal to get more reports of sightings once the leaves begin to change colors.
And then in the fall and winter, we get more sightings in general, and we think a lot of that has to do with adolescent coyotes.
Like many mammals, coyotes give birth to pups in the spring. By the fall and winter, they have grown considerably.
So they look pretty much like an adult coyote, but they're venturing out on their own and they're not as savvy. And so they don't have those kind of like hidden ways of getting around. They might be more visible.
That being said, Van Bell stressed that coyotes are almost never aggressive towards people.
Coyote attacks are extremely rare. To put it in perspective, dog bites are a much more present risk, and those are rare as well.
She commends Schmidt's daughter in handling a close encounter with a coyote.
That little girl, I think, made some great decisions, calling for an adult, getting them aware of what was going on, getting up on top of something, making herself larger. Those are all ideal kind of things to do.
Dad says she wasn't fazed by the brush with nature, though he isn't thrilled.
Certainly, I don't love the idea that one of them ran after my kids.
A nerve-wracking experience for any parent when wildlife gets a bit too wild.
Definitely an unwanted guest in their yard, but the little girl knew exactly what to do.
She was good,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, good moves by her. Good lessons for us all. To help keep coyotes away from your home, experts say to remove food sources, whether that's fruit that has fallen from a tree or unsecured trash. Make sure to keep small pets on a short leash, especially at dawn and dusk, as they could be seen as prey. And don't be friendly. It's in coyotes' best interest not to get too comfortable with us. If they seem to be hanging out around your home, give them a scare with a loud noise.
We tell people to get an air horn. They're terribly afraid of loud noises, so that will help move them from the area. They like to settle in places that are quieter, with less people.
For more tips about how to avoid confrontation with a coyote, head to InvestigateTV.com and search Coyote Encounters.
Up next, Standing United.
I never expected people to just walk up and hug the sculpture the way they do. It's great.
How monuments depicting a movement that changed American democracy are provoking unexpected emotion.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
For 105 years, American women have proudly exercised their right to vote, but it wasn't always guaranteed. Before 1920, when the 19th Amendment was ratified, thousands of women across the country fought for decades to secure voting rights, a movement known as women's suffrage. Tennessee played a pivotal role in creating that change we benefit from today.
Their fight inspired an artist to sculpt tributes you can visit. Reporter Marissa Sulik explains how.
At Alan LaQuire's Nashville Gallery, chipping towards sculpted perfection.
My biggest problem is getting things symmetrical.
Takes time and research to make the final product monumental.
One of the most fun things about making a portrait statue is learning about the person as much as you can. And
He's sculpted figures not only in his gallery, but around Nashville, such as Athena and the Parthenon, the Musica statue in Music Row, and the Women's Suffrage Monument in Centennial Park. This, he calls, his most popular.
they are women who are dressed in sort of 19th century clothing, and I never expected people to just walk up and hug the sculpture the way they do. It's great.
Oh, every time I come here, I am just amazed at how public art is a magnet.
We walked around the 9-foot-tall monuments with Paula Casey, who raised most of the money to put 5 suffragists here.
These are my girls in Centennial Park.
Her girls she talks about are Carrie Chapman Catt, Ann Dallas Dudley, Frankie Pierce, Sue Shelton White, and Abby Crawford Milton.
So every one of these women on this monument has got a fascinating story to tell.
Each led Tennessee to be the 36th and final state needed to ratify the 19th Amendment.
All American women vote today thanks to Tennessee, and we can celebrate that every election season.
Casey says it was the greatest nonviolent struggle in the country's history.
Do you know why they're holding hands there? Any idea?
Because what Alan was showing was solidarity. So when you stand behind them, it looks like they're marching together.
I get more reaction to the women's suffrage monument in Centennial Park than I do to Athena, which is, a 42-foot tall woman.
LaQuire has sculpted more suffrage monuments than anyone in the country, with 5 in Tennessee, according to Casey.
I think there are around 20 different women who are honored in these monuments.
About 700 miles northeast of Nashville in Washington, D.C., the 19th Amendment is moving to a new home.
Starting in March of 2026, it will be permanently displayed in the rotunda of the National Archives building, alongside the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights.
The Emancipation Proclamation will also be added to the rotunda in 2026. It's all part of the 250th celebration of the United States. And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, innocent airline passengers stopped and their bags searched.
It turned out that the individual was getting a percentage of the amount seized.
We take an in-depth look at a warrantless search program at airports across the United States and what led to its shutdown.